Hey guys, today we are going to learn how to make a fleece tie blanket that we are going to then donate to Casey Pet Projects. The materials you need are going to be a pair of fibers only scissors. Notice they say fibers only. You're going to need a little binder clip, a pet blanket pattern along with the pet blanket fringe ruler and corner square. And then the last thing, the most important thing, are 2 pieces of fleece fabric. It's a good idea to pick coordinating fabric so it looks nice, but if you want to be funky, go ahead and be funky. To start off, you're going to lay your fabric flat and then put the big square that says pet blanket pattern on top of that. And this is where the binder clip comes in handy. Just clip one of the edges so that your fabric and your cardboard stay together. I have my cardboard lined up to the corner of the fabric here, so it's along 2 edges. That allows me to only have to cut 2 sides. So, with my scissors, I'm going to carefully follow the cardboard. It is best to hold the fabric with the cardboard. You want it taut, which is tight, so that you are making sure you're cutting along the edges. Here's how I lined up the fabric. I just took my cardboard, I laid it as close to the edges as possible. If you've got a little bit off, that's okay. Sometimes when they cut fabric for us at the fabric store, they don't cut it perfectly straight. Then you just take that binder clip and clip it on. It is better to get a little bit more fabric than the square, so cutting around that cardboard, than less. When you've got your 2 pieces of fabric cut, please take any of the extra and fold that up nice and neat so it's ready to go for the next person. Your next step, you're going to need the pet blanket corners and a pair of scissors and the binder clip. You are going to line up the corner with the corner each of your squares. Like I said, clipping that on just keeps it from moving, and you're actually going to cut off each corner. The scraps of this can go in the scrap bucket for fabric because we could always use that later on. You're going to do that with both squares. The last step of cutting that you're going to need to do now that you have your 2 pieces of fabric that went from squares to almost looking like plus signs is going to be using this pet blanket fringe ruler. You are going to line that up like this, and your cuts are going to be where these black lines are. You can use the clip if it helps. I don't think it's going to help me very much. Turn this all around so you can actually read that the correct way though, and we'll get cutting. So all I'm doing is making sure that my scissors are going to go roughly where each of these lines are. So I'm just picking up this little bit of fabric. That's why this cardboard shouldn't really move much. You're going to cut until you reach that cardboard. This is going to give you the tassels that you need, or the fringe, to make your ties here in a second. Alright, one side is done. Now I need to do the other 3 and my second piece of fabric. Now that I've got all 4 edges on both pieces of fabric fringed, I am ready to lay them together and start tying. You want to make sure that you have the wrong side of the fabric touching. Fleece can be kind of hard to tell depending your pattern. Typically, the correct side, the right side, is a little brighter than the other. So if you kind of see, this is a little blurry and this is a little bit brighter, so this is my correct side. So I'm going to lay the correct side down flat on the table. And then on the black, this has some texture and that side's a little bit more matted. See if you can kind of catch that a little bit in the camera. But that's how I know. So now I'm just going to do my best to line these guys up. And smooth out any wrinkles while you're lining them up. There you go, now we're ready to tie. The most time-consuming part of the Sew Fleece Blanket is the tying. To help your fabric stay together, I recommend tying each tassel that's on each corner first, so they'll stay together, and then you can tie the ones in between. And all you're going to do is you're going to take the two pieces and make a loop and pull them together, just like that. The direction you pull your knot will, for the most part, be the direction that your tassels go. You can adjust that a little bit as you're pulling. And you'll see that as I am doing that, some of these tassels are moving. That's okay, as long as you can kind of keep track of where everything is. I'm only doing a single knot right now because I'm just trying to get them attached. When I want them secured, I will double knot them. Less likely to pull apart then, and especially if we've got puppies and kitties playing with these, we don't want them to pull apart. Okay, all my edges are tied, so now if I pick my fabric up, it's not gonna get too messed up. It's gonna stay together pretty well. I'm gonna come back to my corners and I'm gonna redouble knot those at the end, but now I'm just gonna start on one edge, grab both sets of fabric and start double knotting. You might notice when you're doing this that the fleece can pull pretty well. A double knot might be harder to do, but you'll get these little tassels that are hanging. Something I do recommend is do every other. Now that I've done every other, I'm going to go back to the ones I skipped. On the other one, so the second round, I'm only doing a single knot. It should still stay together just fine because I've got that double knot every other, but it kind of gives a little different look having some short and then long tassels. Alright, I am done tying all my knots. You might notice that it got a little bunched up. See how it's not laying flat? All you have to do there is tug a little on all four sides By little, I do mean a little. If you pull too tight, it'll untie your knots. Just tug a little. And you have this cute, look, there's my hand. It's not terribly big, but you have this cute little blanket that's going to be perfect to go with any of the puppies or kitties that they've got at KC Pet Projects. Thanks for helping out our community and making something for somebody else.